So anger, many times we hear about rage. I know a lot of people struggle to pull their own anger out. Deep down, most of us feel that it's bad, that it was bad at one point in our life, that we've seen it bad, we've been hurt by others. Our anger might hurt others itself, and it runs through us throughout the day. It can look like a sensation that's different for everyone. For some, it's a rush of heat through your body. And for others, it's just a blackout. You can't remember, you can't concentrate. For many, you're not even attached to it at all. You don't even notice it comes. You've gotten so good at avoiding it and suppressing it. And for some people, they'll be frustrated with somebody and their jaw will clench or their neck will get tight, their muscles in their shoulders or their stomach or their mind will start to race. But the body knows when we're angry. It comes with a chemical change in our body. And there's a story you can think about where somebody was angry and they killed someone, like a mother to a child or a spouse who loved someone and they took their life, and they have such remorse, and it was due to a loss of control. So this is what we hear with anger often, is this out of control feeling. And I say sometimes that we don't even realize what we're doing when we're mad, and that's the power of anger. So it makes sense that we're afraid to show it. It can be scary, it can be dangerous. It is powerful, and sometimes we want to really ignore it, but it's in our body. It lives there and it doesn't go away if we don't tend to it. So if we push it down, then we find that it will come out sideways. It leaks, it spills out the side, whether it's passive or manipulative or resentment or gossip or rage, control. Some people think that they don't feel mad, but they're actually pushing the agenda on others, because what mad comes when we feel violated, when our sense of self is being pushed, whether it's a commitment that's being violated, or our personal space or our property or someone we love or identity, or that someone's going after our dignity. So if you think of a child in a sandbox and they're being punched over and over and over and they're getting a bruise on their arm, the body is going to start building an energy that helps them to get unstuck, to fight back. And if that child feels that they can't do that, then they have to be suppressing that anger, and it will turn into a hopelessness, a depression rather. And that's something that we see in adults. When our anger is so stuck and we can't get it out, it can make us very ill. So something I want us to think about is pushing a beach ball underwater. And when it comes to surface, it'll pop out on accident without control. So it's a lot of work to hold it, and it's inevitable that it's going to come accidentally out at some point. So if we don't use that assertiveness, that helps us get protection for our standards that we have for ourselves or others, or space, or whatever it is that our body is saying, there's a need here. We need to be protecting something. We need to be getting the body free, or whatever it might be. Or if a child is crossing your boundaries that you've set with them, that anger is going to come up within you. And if you don't recognize it and use assertiveness with the child, then it's going to leak out. It's going to look like rage, or it's going to be controlling, or come out at some point through sarcasm, passive aggression, distancing, withdrawing from the child, or checking out. Some people get into addiction this way, avoidance. Sometimes when we stuff our anger, we can become reactive, and that will cause us to disagree with people and be contesting them constantly. So we could become combative. A little thing could kind of rip off the whole cap, because all of that's been stuffed in there. And so you just already are at your limit, and then it just comes out. I think I mentioned sarcasm. Another one is where when we're passive aggressive, our words are not matching our body. So there's frustration there, but it's confusing for the person that we're interacting with. And sometimes we don't even recognize it, that that's going on. So if you think about holding the anger in your body, if you've learned to live your life that way, which many people have, again, because anger has been scary or ineffective for people growing up, then it can make us sick. it can lead to panic and panic attacks and immunity problems and things like cancer and ulcers and digestive problems and migraines, and all that can come up. It's really important to recognize when you feel mad. That emotion flows through you just like all the other emotions throughout the day. And it's just an indicator. It says, hey, I have a need. There's something that's not happening the way it should. And it doesn't mean, and we'll get into this later, but it doesn't mean that we need to punish a person or cause harm to them or get revenge. That's what the body is going to do if we don't address the need. And so if we can get ourselves unstuck or free, get the change we need in that area we're feeling violated, it can be with or without the person that we're interacting with. We can learn to tend to our own anger and get our own needs met by having self-care and assertiveness, by saying no or stepping back, taking a break, stating our preferences, following through when somebody doesn't do what they said or what we asked, confronting people respectfully. You know, anger is really, I think, meant to bring us back into harmony with people, but it's to call out when there's something, a barrier wedging between you and someone. And so it's meant to be spoken. Anger is meant to be spoken in truth, that there is something going on here, right? And to bring us back in to harmony with people. And so we want to do it with loving words, but saying no, saying I don't want that, saying I don't like that, saying this is not okay with me, I'm going to step over here, we're going to take a break, you're going to go in the other room, to a child who's violating you. That's love. That's saying this is not okay. And it's teaching a person how you want to be loved. And so if you can have the self-awareness and the self-love to have those preferences and recognize when you're being violated, even if someone's not trying to, that's a really healthy way to use your anger. So if you can think of sad, mad, glad, bad, and scared as the basic emotions: sad, mad, glad, bad, and scared. Think of bad as like shame, feeling guilt or shame, unworthy or unacceptable. So sad, mad, glad, bad, scared. These are all the emotions that pop up when we have needs that are not met. So I'll share a link here in an article of where those needs can get met. And a lot of this content I teach in my work that I kind of grew up learning in an organization that you know, and a whole influence of people that has helped me to find freedom in these emotions. And I haven't mastered it, but I can say that when I feel stuck emotionally, I can recognize it now, and it helps me to get towards freedom. I know what to do to get that change. So one thing with anger is that we don't see it usually modeled in a healthy way. It's not something that really in the history of humans has ever been talked about as a healthy thing. But it's really important because few people are taught what to do with the emotion. And as we become adults, we tend to do what was modeled, you know, or we tend to avoid what we didn't like that we saw. So how did your parents display anger? Was there one who avoided it and one who showed it? Was one more assertive, and was there space for you to have frustration, for you to challenge when you didn't feel okay, when you felt stuck, or when you felt like someone was condescending you or ignoring you or invalidating you? And even as a child, you might not have noticed that, but anytime that you would have had that kind of self-protective mode or that no, even at 2 years old, we begin with a no. It's part of identity building. It's part of ego development, is to have assertiveness and use that healthy mad that is just an awareness that things are not okay or not how I want them to be. So it doesn't matter if your expectations are wacko. If you had an expectation and it wasn't met, you get to feel mad. That's your feeling. It's not something that you can really get rid of in the moment. But watching these feelings show up will help you get an awareness of the way your belief system is set up around something. So if you keep finding that you constantly are feeling violated with the same person over and over, and you notice it building up in your body, then that's going to give you a lot of information about that relationship and about how you value yourself and how that person values you. And what anger needs is to vent and to get change. Excuse me. So when we feel our sense of territory has been violated, it's an emotion that helps us to know that we're in danger. So if we don't feel the anger, then we don't notice we're being overtaken. And this is where we can become dominated very easily. And then later we're resentful, and the way that we come back to take our territory is harmful. So if we can recognize that sense of self, that identity that's being challenged somehow through people's behavior, then we can eventually get realigned there. That no, this is what's important to me. This is my want, and I'm not okay with how this is set up in this relationship or what's being expected of me, or how others are following through with what I'm asking for. So when we express our opinion and someone says that we're wrong, it's fair that we feel frustrated, because expressing our opinion is just the way that we communicate to others what we're thinking. And when they tell us our thoughts or even our feelings are wrong, they're challenging who we are. And we connect that. So if somebody tells us you shouldn't be mad, or stop crying, or let it go, or well, that's not my fault. If they're denying and saying that your anger is not valid, then that's going to make you feel more frustrated. So something we do with kids that we can learn to do with each other is to say, I see that you're mad. You want this and you can't have it. I see that, and I'm here for you. I understand. You still can't have that thing that you want, but I see that that's really hard for you. That's what people need when they're angry, because they want to be able to vent it out. So anger first needs to vent. We need to get it out of our body physically and verbally. And you can even journal it, or I've used audio messages many times into my phone. A lot of people pray, you can journaling, praying, calling a friend and asking just to vent, telling your partner, I just need to talk about how hard my day was. I don't need anything else back. That's important. And our feelings and our thoughts, they're true stories about us. They're not debatable. So if someone then tries to tell me that I shouldn't be mad, or they don't believe me when I say I'm mad, then that's really feeling like a cross to my identity. So I get to feel mad when I feel challenged, period. So just to say the words, I feel mad, I'm mad, I'm frustrated, is really freeing, because it helps you to get that awareness with yourself, to get it out, to express it, and then you can start seeking the change that you want. So that's how anger is supposed to work. It's a flag. It tells us we're being violated. Once we get that energy out of our body, it's like a steam. That emotion will move on. It'll move towards getting change, but we sort of have to clean out that anger by expressing it, becoming aware of it, putting it somewhere verbally, or even physically. Just punching bag is a common thing we talk about in therapy, just getting that adrenaline down so that you can get some clarity in your thoughts and strategize some changes that you want to have in a situation. And use that anger to thrust you into consistency with that change that you want for yourself or for others. So if somebody's not doing their part, what can you do to get the change in the situation that you need? Without trying to control them or get change in them, what can you do to get your need met where you don't feel as violated? So one thing that we do when we vent is to say, I'm mad because, and we just list it out. I'm mad because my ice cream fell on the floor. I'm mad because I'm going to be late for my meeting. I'm mad because my partner called me selfish. I'm mad because my mom won't let me go somewhere until I finish my laundry. I'm mad because I'm not getting a raise. I'm mad because COVID is taking over my life. I'm mad because I have to wear a mask. I'm mad because I can't stick to my diet. So whatever it is, you're expressing it, you're getting it out. And then what anger needs is to vent and to get change. So the next video, I'm going to talk about why it feels risky for us to have anger, and how we can often bring anger with tears or sadness. Laughter or sadness is a way that it can show up, because we don't feel safe using our anger. And that's completely valid. That sometimes we pick up a belief system in our lives that anger is not a safe emotion to have, and the ways that we avoid it can create a lot of confusion and disconnect with those that we love. So we'll get into that next, and then moving on from there, I'll talk about healthy ways to set boundaries and to avoid things like punishment and trying to control others with our anger, but actually getting the change that we need in our lives. So hopefully that's helpful. Just remember, when you feel mad, you need to get it out of your body. You need to talk about it. You need to vent about it. And then you can start to strategize what you're going to do to get that change. Good luck.